Okay, thank you. So nice to meet you all. My name is Fabrizio, and I work with Simity as a solution architect. So a quick look at what we are going to talk about today. We are going to talk about what are the basic requirements for a call center solution. We are going to talk about what kind of solution you're able to create just using Teams without adding any kind of third-party solution or software. We are going to see some specific features that you don't have in a basic Teams deployment. And we are going to see the different ways that you can use to integrate the contact center in Teams, and with a few examples of solutions that use the different integration modes. So what are the expectations about a call center solution? Well, the first one, obviously, is integration with your existing VoIP solution, which is Teams, but think to Teams as your voice solution could be any kind of solution. And integration with your CRM, integration with other technologies that are going to help you managing your users, your customers. Now, the really important thing here is that no customer loves to repeat twice the same information or to give you information that you are supposed to have already. So it's really important that your call center solution, whatever it is able to gather information from the different sources that you have and put them in front of the operator that is going to take the call, the agent. Another important requirement here, the experience. Both your customer and your staff have to be able to do their work or to receive the service in a way that is as easy and as good as possible. So the user experience, both on the customer side, on the staff side, is really important. A call center must be a scalable solution because, as we know, depending on the time of the year, depending on what is going on, marketing side and so on, you could have spikes, you could have periods in which you have more or less customers. So the solution must be able to accommodate growing or decreasing numbers of calls. Reporting, because clearly you want to track what happens in the call center. You want to know how the agents are performing, how much time does it require to take a call. And you want to see also how the whole system is doing over a defined period of time, so history. And performances, you want call quality. Obviously, you want reporting that is able to give you real-time information, and you want to be able to look at the performances of the users and grant them the tools to resolve issues as fast as possible. Compliance, really often it is a requirement, especially voice recording, if you are managing financial aspects and payments, for example, trading and so on. You want that your calls are recorded or that they are stored or compliant to local rules, and clearly the cost. Now, what do you have inside Teams? Well, the basic tools that you have are the auto attendance and the call queues. Auto attendance are basically IVRs that you are able to define inside Teams. You are able to decide if an IVR is going to have an operator, so somebody that's able to take the calls. You are able to decide what time zone and what language this auto attendant is going to use. You have just one time zone and one language, so if you need different languages and different time zones, you have to create additional attendants. The auto attendants have a support for voice inputs. So, for example, if your menu has 3 or 4 options, the customer that is calling is just able to say 1 or 2 or 3 to go to the different branches of the menu. And you have the capability to have a music on hold, have a menu with all the options, which is going to be an audio file or a greeting message, could be a text to speech. So it's a, let's say, fully functional IVR menu. Call queues are more about managing the agents. So in call queues, you are able to define who is the agent, how the agents are going to be called. For example, could be round robin, could be a call that goes to all the agents. You are able to use the presence in Teams to decide who is going to get the call. For example, people that are busy or offline are not going to get the calls for this specific queue. And you are able to delegate to the agent the capability to opt in and out of the call. So for example, an agent could say, okay, I'm going to be working on this specific call queue for 2 hours every day. So the agent is able to log in and log off from the queue by themselves, without having to ask any kind of additional permission. Interestingly, and this is recent, you are able to use as a group of agents also a Teams channel. This is really important because it means that you are able to add and remove people inside a channel, and those people are going to be enabled or removed as an agent from a call queue or an auto-attendant. Now, there is a limitation on this one because people that are in a channel but have no Teams phone system license are not going to get the call. So only the people in the channel that have a Teams phone system license are going to be agents in that queue, which makes sense from a certain point of view. So you're able to use a team that's already existing, and only the people inside that team that are going to be agents will require a license for the phone system. Every auto-attendant and call queue requires a resource account. Resource accounts use a free license that is called Phone System Virtual User License. I will talk about this one in a minute. If you want to enable a phone number connected to an auto-attendant or a call queue, in that case, you need direct routing, or you need a calling plan or operator connect. You need a phone system of some sort. I said virtual user licenses are free. As soon as you buy a Teams phone system license for at least one user in your company, you get at least 25 virtual user licenses, plus every additional 10 users in your organization that you enable to phone system. Automatically, you are able to require an additional virtual user license. If the resource account is not using any phone number, so for example, is a nested auto-attendant, in that case, you don't need any license for the resource account. So resource accounts require virtual user licenses only where there is a phone number associated to the call queue or auto-attendant. And Teams by itself has reporting, but clearly the kind of reporting that you have in Teams is not enough for the requirement of a call center. As we said, you want to be able to look at the performances of the single agent. You want to be able to deep dive what is going on in your system, and this is not enough. What do you want from a call center? You want something that is called the skill-based routing. So you want to be able to send the calls to the people that have actually, to the agent that have the best skills to answer to the question, to the issue of the customer. And in case the best agent is not available, after a defined amount of time, for example, you want to be able to use the second best, and then the next, and then the next, and so on. So you are able to distribute the workload on the best agent available, whatever is the situation. Skills could be language skills, could be technical skills, marketing skills, whatever you want. So for example, if you have an agent that is really good in English and not so good in German, you could use this agent as a primary skill for English, and eventually second line in case you have a German customer that has been waiting for a long time. Wallbox, you want to be able to have analytics inside. You want to see how your contact center is going. You want to use Power BI. You want to use analytics. So you need something more than just what we have said that Teams is able to give you out of the box. You want to use the artificial intelligence, you want to use the bots, because actually having a well-done bot using the artificial intelligence means that you're able to answer 2 questions 24/7. You are able to cut down the number of people in the queue, and you are able to answer to a part of the questions even if the office is closed, the call center is closed. We will see a little bit more about this one, talking about the Dynamics 365 solution from Microsoft, for example. You want to give to the supervisors of your call center the capability to do coaching and live monitoring of the agents. So what can you do with Microsoft Teams and a third-party solution? Well, Teams is going to be the hub that gives you internal and external connections. And you have 3 different ways to integrate Teams with a call center solution. And they are called Connect, Extend, and Power. So let's start with Connect. Connect uses basically direct routing on an SBC. What happens is that the phone call arrives to the SBC. It is sent to the call center solution using a SIP trunk, and then the call center, using his own ways to manage the calls, skills, and so on, sends the call to the agent. So there is an integration. You can use the Teams presence, for example, but everything happens through a web-based agent app or through an installer client. But what happens here is that actually you have calls going to the call center and then going to the agent. So the integration could be a little bit more complex. A large part of the existing solution are based on this model. We'll talk about that in a minute. Extend model. In this case, you're using the Graph APIs or the Cloud Communication APIs. And what happens is that the call goes to Teams, and then it is managed by the call center. So clearly, this means that you're able to use not only direct routing, but also calling plans, Operator Connect, and whatever voice solution you want to use. Again, we are going to talk about this a little bit more in a minute. The last one is the Power Model. Power Model means that you're using Azure Communication Services to create a platform that is based on Teams, but actually is really gives you a large amount of customization. And for example, you could potentially use also chat and video options. And this is kind of new, so a large part of the APIs and the SDKs are still finalizing it on the Microsoft side. So I'm just going to name a few products, but as an example of the different integration modes. So for example, Anywhere 365 here, they are a connect model. The calls go to the SBC. They are routed to the Anywhere platform, and then they're routed to the agent. You have more or less all the things that we talked about. You have Azure Services integration, you have skill-based routing and monitoring and so on. Being a connect model, what happens is that the call arrives to the Teams client. You take the call inside the Teams client, and then you are able to manage it inside the web agent. And the same happens when you have to make an outgoing call. Basically, what happens is that the system calls you, and the incoming call is actually the outgoing call. And this is probably the part of the experience that is not exactly straightforward for the agent. They have to understand that they take and make calls from the Teams client, but all the rest of the experience is inside the client. An extend model solution, I'm going to say where is not certified, is going to be certified as many other solutions in a short time. In this case, as you can see, the call goes to Teams, and then the call center manages the call. So the positive side here is that the call stays as near as possible to the agent, to the final destination. Okay. Again, you have dashboards and all the required features that we talked about. The user experience is a little bit more straightforward than in the case of the Connect model. Again, there are positive sides and negative sides in both the solutions, because clearly the Connect model is kind of well established, well known, tested more and more for different products. This Extend model clearly uses APIs, and so there is kind of a dependency on what Microsoft is going to do with APIs and SDKs and so on. And now we are at the last one in my list, which is the Power model, voice channel for Dynamics 365. Now, this has been presented during Ignite, and at the moment there is not a lot of hands-on experience on this one, so we are just talking about what we are able to see in the different demonstrations. First of all, this is voice integration for Dynamics 365. So what is the positive side here? You have already your customer information inside Dynamics. You are going to use the information that you have in Dynamics, your CRM, to manage the customer. So let's say that in this case, we are moving in the opposite direction. In the previous case, it was a call center integrated with a CRM. In this case, it's kind of a CRM adding on top voice. Voice, as you have seen before, is just one of the, if you look back to this previous one, communication channels means that also the other products and Dynamics 365 Voice too, you are able to enter the system from different ways. Could be Twitter, could be Facebook, could be a different solution. Okay, so think about voice as an additional channel. So I was saying Dynamics 365 customer service, you're able to use the phone. Clearly, being a solution from Microsoft, what happens is that voice is integrated in the in Teams by itself. I mean, it's a native solution. In this case, and that's why I say this is a power model, there is a lot of usage of Microsoft Azure communication services, meaning that there is a lot of usage of artificial intelligence. So, for example, you have Call Insight, real-time sentiment analysis, real-time transcription. What do I mean? You see here, there is a menu that I have copied, and every call is transcribed by the system, by the artificial intelligence, and the agent is able to translate the incoming calls in any language, well, supported language clearly, and so there is no risk about misunderstanding or missing something during the whole process. There is also Smart Assist. So Smart Assist means that from what the user said, from a knowledge base, and so on, you are able to actually have a set of pre-made suggestion. There could be a knowledge base page that opens and you're able to see that and so on. You are able to write virtual agent and IVRs with this no-code solution. The supervisor panel, again, you're able to do consulting and transferring, you're able to do monitoring, manage the phone calls, recording, and so on. And operation management to this dashboard. Now, as I said, at the moment, there is no real way to try the product, as far as I know. There is a voice channel for Dynamics 365 customer services presentation, which is the BRK234, available on YouTube. And there is also an introduction to voice channels in the Microsoft Docs, which is, again, kind of an introduction to the idea. More or less, that is my presentation for today. I don't know if there is any question. So let me see. Connect does not use calling plants. Okay, so this is a tricky question. If I have to answer by the book, I have to say that Connect does not support calling plants. However, I have seen customers using calling plants. So it works, but I'm not going to say that it is a supported solution. So 10.4, yeah, 10.4 is an extend. Saying that the information that I have is the first solution that is actually certified as an extend model. And I know that there are other vendors that are ready to be certified. They are just waiting for the green light from Microsoft. So yes, those are extend solutions, calling plants, Operator Connect, direct routing. You can use whatever you prefer. Preferred, what a list of my preferred call center solution. I'm not going to make any name. As a company, we sell some solutions. We prefer some solutions more than others. However, any solution has positive and negative sides. So maybe that what we are going to say is good for one customer is not going to be good for another customer. Often it happens that I even suggest to go for just Teams auto attendant and call queues, because actually they cover the requirements of the customer and they are free as much as possible. Okay, there is another extent model which is called Competel. Again, I say that there is going to be a long list of companies that are going to use the extent model. Yes. So anyway, 365 Dialog Cloud is compatible with Operator Connect. As far as I know, officially not. And I will stay on the official documents. So does a solution work with Operator Connect? If they are extent, yes. If they are Connect, I would say no. You know, if this is being offered in the US, I suppose we are talking about the Dynamics 365 voice solution. My answer is, should be in general availability, but when I tried to find any kind of live demo or something like that, I was not able to get much. So maybe it was me, or maybe they are still refining the SDK and the APIs, which is probably what I would say is the most probable scenario. Microsoft Team calling, call reporting, and analytics. There is a little bit of analytics inside Teams, obviously. If you use an extended solution, you have the reporting from your third-party provider. Again, it depends on your requirements. I mean, if you don't have any high-level wall board or analytics requirement, and by the way, you can use Power BI to create your own analytics. So if your requirements are not too complex, you can go with the native solution too. Okay. I think I have answered to all the questions. So,
yes, I think so too.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The last one is Power BI offers analytics more than Teams admin. Absolutely. That's exactly what I said a second ago. So happy to see that we are in the same page. All right.
Okay. Thank you very much for the great session. I have posted a link for a feedback, so please, all of the attendees, you can rate this session and give the feedback, because that means a lot to the speaker and to us as well. Thank you, Fabrizio, one more time for the great session, and thank you everyone for the attendance. And yes, see you later on another sessions.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.